Hi friends, it is time for a new yarn dyeing project, and this week we're going red, white and blue again. You guys really liked the video where I dyed this yarn, so I thought I'd do it again, and this time I'm actually dyeing for a very special project. I know I mentioned this a few times before, but I'm from Norway and the Norwegian flag is red, white and blue. In fact, I believe there are 29 different countries in the world that has that particular color in their flag. I really like the color combo as well, and it is going to be the Norwegian National Day in just a few days. It's May 17th and this video will be live just a few days prior to that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use commercial yarn this week. This is the Drops Merino Extra Fine, and they come like say yarn balls, and I chose a white color, not a natural color, because like I said, I want to have a red, white and blue. However, I need to skein this first in order to be able to dye on it, so I need to make these skeins, and this is 50 grams of yarn. So what I'm doing is I'm using my knitting knotty. I've got one of those, and I'm skeining the yarn on this one. This is a smaller one, a shorter one for just the smaller skeins, like 50 grams. You do not need to have one of these though. You can use like the back of a chair, or you can enlist your local reluctant teenager, whomever you have handy to help you. But you need to make skeins first. So I've done that, and I'm ready to soak. First thing I'm going to do is to add zip ties to each skein. I use these reusables. You can find them on Amazon. This makes it easier to handle the skein when it's in the water while you're dyeing, and also while you're rinsing the yarn. You can always grab the zip tie and you don't have to worry about the skeins getting tangled to each other. Second one, I'm going to dye 3 of these today. I'm just going to release this skein from the knitting knotty. There we have it. And adding a zip tie. There we go. I am using just a regular plastic box to soak in. Got just a little less than a tablespoon of citric acid. You don't have to have citric acid at this stage. I will use it both for soaking and dyeing. You can choose to use it just while dyeing. I'm just safing, I guess. Adding in cold water. I've got 2 measuring cups here with 2 liters in each. And yes, we do use metric in Scandinavia. So there we go, and I'm just going to grab the skeins like so and add them in there. I'm just pushing down to make sure the yarn gets properly soaked. Don't want any of this yarn to be dry, because that is not going to, the dye is not going to stick to the yarn if it is dry. There we are. I'm going to let that sit for about half an hour, and then we'll be ready to dye. The yarn has been soaking for a little over half an hour. It's ready to go. I have set up my things here. I got some citric acid here on the side. I have got a measuring cup of water, so that's 2 liters of cold water. I have got my mask. Always wear one of these. This is a very fine powder. You do not want to breathe that in. Got some gloves. I have got an old empty yogurt tub with just some cold water and a spoon in case I need to poke the yarn. A couple of teaspoons for grabbing dye. And today we are going to use Jacquard acid dye in the color navy blue and the color fire red. So, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to add a little more citric acid to the pan in addition to what I put in the soaking water. This is overkill, but I like to make sure that I have enough so that the dye sticks properly. I'm just going to move this away. And we are going to add in the yarns to the pan, and I just grip them by the zip ties, like so. And squeeze the water out, mainly to not make a mess while I'm transferring. This is why the zip ties come in handy, because it's easy to grab them and remove them from the water without them getting tangled in each other. Last one. There we go. Squeezing out the water. And there we are. Now I'm going to rearrange things a little bit here and move the camera, so I'll be right back. We're getting ready to dye. And I'm going to use Jacquard acid dyes in the color fire red today, with same brand and their navy blue. I got my mask, of course. Always you wear a mask when you're working with the dyes. It's a very, very fine powder. And I got some gloves because today we are going to speckle basically. But because we're we're going to do a red, white and blue, we want to make sure that we have as much white left as possible. So in order to do that, I'm going to twist the skeins a bit, like so. Because when you twist it, there will be white sections within that will remain white. So, like so. I'm going to move the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So, let's do that. First, I'm going to start off by adding water, just clear water, cold. And I've got about 2 liters in here. And I don't want the yarn to be completely covered. I want some of it to poke up above the water surface. Like so. I got, how much is this? Oh, I can see. 1.5 cups maybe left. And I got some of the yarn poking up above. Actually a tad much water maybe, but it's okay, we're gonna go with it. We can always remove water as well if you think it's too much. So I'm going to start the heat, get that going. And we're going to add some speckles. First of all, mask on, of course. And then some gloves. And I'm starting with the red color. This is what it looks like. I'm just gonna pinch a little bit. Not a lot at all, and just gently sprinkle it over the yarn. As you can see, it's a very powerful color. Do not need a lot at all. And we're going to go in with the navy blue. And I'm switching to a clean glove so that I don't contaminate my dyes. It's the navy blue. It looks practically black in the canister. Same thing, just a tiny pinch. There we go. And that's all we need to do for now. Now we just need to wait for the water to heat up and the dye to set. So I'm gonna let this heat up and I'll get back to you. It is starting to heat up and it's not supposed to boil, just needed to get warm. And I'm just going to, I don't recommend you do it like this. I just put on a pair of gloves and stick my fingers in to check if it's getting warm. If you do this, be careful, by all means. I'm just trying to assess if the yarn is warm on top. It is. And I'm just gently poking it to make sure. The center one is absolutely warm. We are getting there with the other two as well. Yeah, we're getting there. Gonna let it sit a little bit longer and then we'll set it aside to cool. It is proper hot now, and even though there is some dye along the edges here that has not exhausted, I'm not going to bother about that. I'm just going to set the pan aside now and let it cool. And once it has cooled completely, we're going to rinse it and then we'll see the result. I'm very excited. It's time to rinse the yarn, and as you can see, I think you can see, the dye has exhausted completely. Can you see the water is absolutely clear? So now it's the moment of truth. So I'm just grabbing them by the zip tie, squeezing out the water, and we're transferring. Now I've got cold water in my rinsing tub here, and I used a splash of soak. You don't have to use soap, you can use dish soap or shampoo or whatever you got. There we go. Reminds me of blueberry pie. Set that aside. I'm just going to use my soaking tub to catch the yarn as I rinse it. Okay. So just grab it by the zip tie and dunk it. Let me move the camera closer. Finding the zip tie and just dunking the yarn. You know what? Oh, let me turn off that light. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. Oops. Splashing all over the kitchen. And the last one. Just dunking it a few times, making sure there aren't any leftover dye anywhere. Now, since I'm using soak, I really don't need to rinse it more than once, but I do like to do it twice. I got rid of some of the foam. This is looking very nice. We got blues and reds and some white. I'm happy with how this came out. So I'm going to rinse this one more time and we are going to hang it to dry. It's time to reveal the final result. Here it is. What do you think? It's kind of a blueberry, raspberry something with cream maybe. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. As you can see, I'm wearing my top from last year's Red, White and Blue project. And this one I have opted for a different blue. I used a navy blue instead. I don't remember which blue I used for this one, but if you go look at that video, you'll find that information. Yeah, looks so good. I have a very specific project in mind for this as well. Can't wait to get started on that. And I will of course show you what I make. If you get inspired and try to dye this colorway yourself or any other colorway that you feel inclined to make, tell me about it below. I would love to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe. I post every week. If you ding the bell, you will get a notification for sure each time I upload a new video. So I would love to have you if you want to follow along. But yeah, this week's colorway looks really good, I think. That's it for this week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
You got me feeling good, right by your side. Lost in every move, writing down your smile. Baby, hold me tight, let me trace your